With great power comes great responsibility, and unfortunately it looks like Marques Brownlee may have put the nail in Fisker's coffin. So firstly, if you do like this video, please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos, and press that like button as well while you're at it. It helps the channel grow, so maybe I can get myself a Fisker Ocean to review. So you may have heard about a car brand called Fisker. They're quite a new company, but they announced the Fisker Ocean, their first car, in 2021. They put it into production in 2022, and they started delivering throughout 2023, kind of drip feeding it really, not that many. It's a sort of a Californian-inspired crossover. Like every other car these days, it tends to be a crossover. It's got about 300-mile range, it's got a solar panel on the roof, a lot of it is recycled materials, and it's all very sustainable, apparently. And it costs between 40 and 75,000, either pounds or dollars. I think it's roughly the same. It's built by Magna. They're the company that also build the Jaguar I-Pace. Reviews in the main have been all right, really. It's sort of a 3.5 to 4.5 star car, not terrible. The headlines are generally, it's a decent car with a few niggling software issues. If you're wondering who Fisker are, it's set up by Henrik Fisker. He's a Danish car designer. He's worked with BMW and Aston Martin. He's been around for a long time. He knows his stuff. I didn't know this, but apparently Tesla also asked him to help out on the Model S design right back in the early days. So his first company was Fisker Automotive. That went bankrupt, and the latest incarnation, Fisker Inc., looks like it might go the same way. They made a net loss of $463 million in 2023, and were actually in talks with Nissan for Nissan to buy a stake in them for $400 million. No news as to whether that's going to happen yet. Perhaps it's less likely now. So they've just started preparing for possible bankruptcy. The stocks are dropping fast, and the vultures are circling. So what happened? Obviously making cars is hard. Even if you get to the point where you're actually making the cars and people are buying them, it still can take years and years before you make any kind of profit. Rivian, who make fantastic EVs that like everyone loves, I mean the owners go crazy about them, they love them. They're actually 22% owned by Amazon. They're making a staggering loss, in fact $5.4 billion so far. Tesla are rolling in money at the moment. They've got billions in the bank. They're doing really well. But it was 14 years of making a loss before that happened. So the Model 3 turned their fortunes around. But Elon Musk did say it was in production hell for a long time. They were making cars intense. But I'll come back to Tesla a little bit later. The transition of ICE to EV is a difficult one, and a lot of traditional automakers are struggling as well. So it's not just these newcomers like Fisker and Rivian that are having problems. So it's a miserable sector to be in, and it baffles me that anyone would really want to do it. What Henrik Fisker seems to have going for him is determination and I think a bit of an ego, from what I can gather. But you need more than that to become a successful car company. Sadly, these days, it really helps to have fans and influencers on your side as well. Which brings me to Marques Brownlee. His channel, MKBHD, is so good. It's one of my favourite channels. He generally reviews tech, but he started going into cars as well. In fact, his new channel is called Autofocus. Brilliant name. I only realised it was a brilliant name while I'm making this video, but it's a brilliant name. So he's now focusing on cars as well, and I think at the moment he's done about 45 car reviews, I think, on there. His main channel has 18.5 million subscribers, so Marques is kind of a big deal. So he's very experienced in reviewing any kind of tech, and of course a lot of that is software based, and cars these days, really, it feels more software than anything else, and that, I think, is where some of the problems lie. So I don't know Marques, he certainly sure as hell doesn't know me, but he seems a really nice guy. He's very thoughtful, intelligent. He comes across really well in his videos, insightful. His videos are brilliant. And one of the things I really like about him is that he doesn't resort to clickbait. Until now. This is the worst car I've ever reviewed. That was the title of his Fisker video, and it's had 4.5 million views. Staggering number. So he started the video by saying he wanted to get a review car from Fisker themselves. Fisker said that they've actually got a 2.0 software release coming out and they wanted to delay the review until then. Marques said, no, I want to review it now. So Marques got one from a dealer to review instead. So what exactly is wrong about the Fisker Ocean? What did Marques mean when he says it's the worst car he's ever reviewed? He starts the review by saying it's not the fundamentals that are bad. It looks good, good storage, it's comfortable, drives pretty well, more luxurious a ride than a Tesla Model Y, great visibility, comfortable seats.
The best back seat experience of any of the EVs that it's competitive with.
Which doesn't sound like the worst car ever, does it? So you'll be thinking, my God, what happened? Did the wheels fall off? Did the auto wipers not work? Marques goes through the issues he has in front of a very dirty car that he didn't get cleaned, which makes me feel a little bit happier about the content that I produce, because I don't tend to bother cleaning them either. So here are his issues, which I'm going to read out for you. It has a solar roof, but it doesn't tell you how much the solar roof is generating. I used to have a solar roof actually with the Ioniq 5. It's not unique to the Fisker Ocean, and it did tell me the cumulative amount that it had generated from the solar roof, but it doesn't tell you the amount that it's generating right then and there, which would have been nice. So Fisker doesn't tell you anything, or at least it didn't in this version that he's got. As a small vanity mirror, the middle storage is taken up with like a tray that kind of sticks out, a little table kind of thing. There's no glove box, which is weird. There's no glove box, just a tray. You have to change the drive mode using a button on the steering wheel. You can't use the touchscreen to change the drive mode. And the drive modes don't change very much anyway, so that's something he goes into quite a lot. There's a launch mode, or boost mode I think they call it. You can only do that 500 times. So if you don't know what launch mode is, or boost mode in this case, you put your foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, lift off the brake, and it goes like that. You can only do that 500 times, I guess to protect the battery, but that is a bit of a weird one. It's got something called California mode, which is kind of cool. You press a button and all the windows go down and the sunroof opens up, and two of the back windows, the small back windows, didn't go down, and they obviously should have. The outside two buttons on the steering wheel are too easy to press when you're holding the steering wheel, so he's saying that you can accidentally go back in the whatever music you're listening to. The software is a mess. I've not started this car without getting an error, he says. The camera fails sometimes. Bluetooth connectivity, which I think was probably the thing that annoyed him the most actually. Bluetooth issues all over the place. A weird animation flashing on the dash when you slow down and speed up. Driver assistance failed a couple of times. There's no auto hill hold, which is a bit weird. You know, if you're on a hill, it rolls back, and really it should just stay there. And the key fob was unresponsive sometimes. Marques did say that there's a 2.0 release coming soon from Fisker, which apparently was going to sort out a few of these issues. And in fact, the issues that it should sort out are the hill hold. It will actually have that, an energy meter to show solar power. The key fob should be sorted out, and other stuff as well, hopefully, but they were the main issues. Now, obviously, you've got Marques, who's a big celebrity, and he's only had 2 days with the car. What about someone who's an actual owner? What do they think? Well, I do know someone on Blue Sky, the social network, that has a Fisker Ocean. So I asked them to watch the video and give me their thoughts, and this is what they said. And by the way, they are a Fisker shareholder, but they still don't hold back with their comments. So listen to this. Okay, I watched the vid again. He is right about the fact there's no status for the solar panel in this version. He says there's no glove box, but it is actually under each chair in the front. Bit unusual, but there we go. He says you cannot see the mode change, but it's in the driver's screen. So you can change the drive mode on the screen, apparently. Apparently the doggy window was buggy. I didn't know it was called a doggy window, but they're the little ones at the back. Apparently the doggy window was buggy during California mode in his car. In mine, it was fine. He is right about the fact it's easy to press the steering wheel buttons by accident. It's annoying. He is right about Bluetooth. The screen problem, switching between blue and red, I've never noticed. That's the dashboard one, which would flicker as you accelerate and decelerate. I had the driver attention notice many times for no reason. He's also right about the ghost messages all the time. I don't know what he means by ghost messages. I think they're probably the messages that come up all the time and say there's stuff that's wrong. Fixed in 2.0. He's right about the hill hold, brake hold, fixed in 2.0. The key fob is very unresponsive indeed, also in 2.0. Worst key fob I've ever seen. No proximity locking and unlocking like in my Jeep Renegade or Renault Zoe. Additionally, my whole ADAS ELKS system has been messed up since December and they're still trying to fix it. I've had 3 failed repairs until now. It's pretty awful. And by the way, the solar panel status screen in 2.0 is great. And Patrick just finishes by saying, and my opinions are honest, full disclosure, I have Fisker shares. So he's someone that clearly wants Fisker to succeed. He has one, and they're his honest opinions, and that's great. So obviously Marques is right about a lot of things, but there are some things he isn't right about. And that's just the kind of thing that you would know perhaps if you've had the car for longer, or if you actually got the car from Fisker themselves. Perhaps Fisker would have gone through those things with him. I don't know. So obviously it's still not great. There are still issues, but a few things are fixed in 2.0 and they are at least trying to sort them out. Doesn't sound good about the key fob though, does it? and Bluetooth would really annoy me. Thank you very much for Patrick on Blue Sky for telling me all of that. It's really, really useful. So to say it's the worst car he's ever reviewed seems a bit unfair to me, based on that. I mean, quirkiest or buggiest perhaps. He says he's rooting for it because the fundamentals are solid. And he also says himself that they're a young company and maybe they don't really know what they're doing just yet. But he still goes in for the kill with that video title, The Worst Car I've Ever Reviewed. What did Fisker say? There's a really cringy video of the dealer that he got the car from talking to Fisker. Fisker called the dealer not very happy. And they don't even know who Marques is. They talk to him like he's just some kid. But they know that he's having a big effect, but they don't know who he is. So that is a bit cringy. So Fisker obviously are having a bit of a panic. They're in meltdown at the moment. But I said earlier about Tesla. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's software is generally better than any other EV I've driven, but the car itself sometimes has some issues. So when I tried a Model 3, it will do phantom braking sometimes with autopilot, where it just stops for no reason at all. It couldn't read the speed limit signs when I was driving through Europe. Auto headlights didn't work properly. Auto wipers didn't work properly, and they still don't. And I had the Tesla Model 3 2 years ago. Tesla also removed range sensors and parking sensors, so it means that that's some pretty basic stuff that now has to be handled by cameras, and cameras aren't always great, really, at doing this kind of thing. So the software that Tesla run, I would say, is continually in beta. They're always updating it. I mean, it's very good, really. You go into the car one day and you find out you've got a software update and your car is now better, in theory. Fisker seemed like a really easy target, but as I said in the intro, with great power comes great responsibility, and Marques has enormous power and I think a responsibility to perhaps go a little bit easier on a new company like Fisker. If Marques had done a review of the original Tesla Model S and he ripped it apart like this and he said it was the worst car ever, then would Tesla be as big as they are today? Tesla have grown to the size they are in large part, I think, because all of the fans they've got and the influencers that say they're the best company ever or the best cars ever or Elon Musk is a god and all that, just as Steve Jobs was for Apple back in the day. Tesla, even now, regularly gets excused for any kind of issues they've got or bad decisions they might make. They'll just call people a hater. So as great as Teslas are, and they are fantastic, they're not perfect. The software is always being developed. We should get honest reviews. One of my other favourite YouTube channels is Johnny Smith's Late Break Show, and he recently ripped apart the Honda EV, the ENEY1 or whatever it's called. But Honda are a big company, so they can take the abuse. And in fact, they started offering pretty good finance rates shortly after Johnny's review. I certainly don't think that Fisker should get an automatic pass. If something is bad, then it's good that a reviewer says it's bad. But at the same time, they are a new company, and I do feel that a little gentler approach may have been better. So Fisker were clearly having problems, and I'm not going to say that's Marques' fault. And this is what the Reuters article had to say about it. Fisker has struggled to sell its flagship Ocean electric SUV after high interest rates led to a slowdown in demand. It said current financial resources were insufficient to cover the next 12 months, and without additional financing it might be forced to cut production, decrease investments, scale back operations and slash more jobs. So they're blaming high interest rates. Personally, I would blame the competition. I think it's probably just Tesla existing that's caused the issue. Also because Tesla are very good at reducing their prices and screwing the rest of the industry over in the process, so that can't help much. So that's obviously a big thing. If you're going to choose an electric SUV, what are you going to go for? Model Y or a Fisker Ocean? I'm not questioning Marques' integrity. To him, he obviously wants to do the same review to Fisker as he would do for any other car. Of course we want honest reviews, but with so many of the issues being software based, so fixable with an update, and YouTube videos lasting a long time, and the impact that this video has with that title it has, it all just seems a little bit unfair to Fisker, to me. But I would love to know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos, and I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.